anyways.
For example, now I was born as an only child, so growing up, most of the time I had
Sure.
most of the time I had um, cousins around and all of that. So growing up, we know lie in front of camera. I know do a lot of chores. I know the phone, not the same to get, but just because of my position in the family and having older cousins around,
Mm.
I was going to do about little. So growing up, when my cousins started to leave and all of that, I learned to do a lot for myself. And I realized that a lot of these things are basic skills. You cannot say this is a woman's role, so I will not do it. If you try it, bro, cooking for
You know,
example, no sorry, cooking for example is a basic skill. Your hygiene, keeping your environment
Clean.
clean
It's a basic
is a
skill.
basic skill. I
yeah.
don't think you need anybody to help you do
Sure.
that. Because normally in the house, you hear somebody tell you if you want to cook, it's the woman. Washing plate or cleaning the house in the morning is the woman. But in all honesty, I feel like those are basic skills. When you want to come to gender duties, I think more likely when you now have a lot of people in the house, then you can share chores.
Correct.
And
Mm-hmm.
Because
obviously,
of
because of the fact that it's a lot of people now, so we can share chores.
choice.
But when it is just you, I think some of these things are basic skills. Then when you want to get into
True.
the family structure now, you can say because it is easier for you to do this,
Mm.
you do it. I handle this one. Because I am too busy with this and I cannot do this. You do this for the meantime.
But you know what I think about this stuff? It still boils down to the part where this stuff are not static and flexible. And I also said
Yeah.
it's a matter of organization in all different units. So the way you handle your family is not the way me I will handle my family.
I pretty
But the
much
point
feel that.
is, as a young man, you want to get married in a family setting now. You should be able to, okay, this is like my brother said, cooking. It normally I agree me as I be cook, my mom ensure of that.
Yes, so,
We can ask any of my brothers. She understand that at one point in time I was the one cooking for everybody in my house for years after my sister left to school. So I know how to cook. But me, okay, for example, now that my dad, me I no go the cast him out, but now although there are some times where okay, there was one time where he had this place that his business, he was running his business. So there are a couple of times where he comes home bringing food that he cooked, and I was like, this must have been cook, but I never ever see my dad enter kitchen for house. She understand. Even if you want try, and my mom no go gree. She understand because they already get that idea of yes, now man, you not supposed. But me, I don't mind cooking as well, but no, I
you
no
have to
gree
do
say
it as well.
now wait no
Me I
I
dey
dey come
talk
come let me
actually
no
like I will
no
let me
let me
just
I
clear
just let me
myself.
I know you clear yourself
Yeah,
but may I
clear
finish
myself.
anyway. But the thing is, you know the kind of person you are. It's important. Me personally, make I no stay at down. I dey always say my girl I be Christian. I no go fit marry girl wey no be Christian because our ideology go
Gotta be
different.
compatible,
She
yeah.
understand it has to be compatible for it to work. So you now as a guy, you don't get the mindset of okay, this is how I want my home to be. Sometimes I'm not saying you cannot find somebody that will change you or compliment
You
you,
have to
but there are some core
find
things.
things.
There are some core things where we say say okay, but at the end of the day, she fit make you realize okay, this is no good and you go change you. But there's some so that may no go become problem. You don't know say you no go fit handle this thing. Then find woman wey still think like that as well. So that I know it go become problem. You know say okay, me I no fit be dey cook. I no fit as a man go dey cook. You understand? Then you can't go marry woman wey think say if me dey kitchen you must dey there with me.
No.
She understand? That one e go
What I
become
mean,
problem now.
what me I mean anyways, what I was trying to get at is that in as much as we all have this idea that cooking is a gender role, like my guy has cleared the air, it is a survival skill, but it is a survival skill, but it is something that most men still do not have, and even if they have, it's not even up to the level that it should. Like, if guy me yourself they try for the cooking, like you get. So, in as much as I was saying that, if I was in the position that okay, my wife is a 9 to 5 and I can understand that
agree.
she's not going to be available to do this thing, and me I can do it. I'm taking stress off of her.
Yes, of course.
Do you
Me
get?
too, I can
That's
do that.
that's where me I'm pointing at. And I also mentioned that at the end of the day, it does not change the fact that the kitchen is for her. Do you get?
Yes,
That's the point me I'm making.
No, you
Do you
got
get?
buttress that part. No,
I got buttress and no. I know if you do it now, like
There's a reason
I know if you do it forever. Like I can't like.
If you want to get married, the woman tells you the woman is very particular about her kitchen space to be, because she knows that 80% of the work that is going there is supposed to be for her. Like you rightfully said, if you now know that you don't know how to cook, find a man that would not find that as a problem. Yes,
Because
true. Because I was arguing with friends. I think I said this earlier. I was arguing with friends a couple days ago about provision. If you know as a woman you cannot cook, you want to settle down with a man that can cook, people say it beforehand. Likewise, as a man, if you know you cannot provide for your family, you want to settle down. No, we are just saying if we don't want to box these things into.
Okay, yeah, we're not boxing.
wait.
Let me
If we are not boxing these things into
I want
gender
to
role.
point out that I feel gender roles and gender duties are two different things. Let me quickly point that out because I feel we've just been making a lot of analysis and I don't think we're actually putting these things in their right context. Do you get? Gender roles now, for example, now like that cooking thing, now, like it's a role. Do you get? It's different from duty. Do you get? No. I feel a lot of people confuse it. For me now, as a man, you have certain duties that strictly has to be only you.
Yeah, true.
Do you get? And as a woman, like certain strict duties that are for you. Do you get? For example, now as a man, it may not be like I make example of security all the time, but for example, now as a man, like there are certain. It's your duty to make decision on this thing.
On provision. There's a reason why
Right.
What about you as a man now? You go marry soldier with be woman. Who go dey provide security?
You be weak man.
Do you understand?
Well, in some man, you should be able to.
You should be able to, but that doesn't mean. For example, now this is your. Let me work on your example now. Your female, your wife will be soldier now. She no go like the fact she will never be okay with the fact that she's the one providing security for you. Do you get? And you now, if you're in that, you don't have any issue providing security for your woman now. Do you get? So these things, even as much as one person is going to try to fill in the shoe of another person, over time, like I feel our physiology also plays a very important part because as a man, you can tolerate the fact that okay, you are doing this thing for this person for a longer period of time. But I feel it's different for women, even if they're able to do it. Like they can provide these things for you, like be it survival skill or being able to make certain decisions based on just like important decisions for you. But I don't think most of them, let me specify on the most of them, like I don't think most of them they are able to build themselves to that extent that they're able to tolerate the fact that they are the ones making these decisions. Like, okay, I don't accept and say na me. And even if they accept it, it means they have to forego their feminine nature because now they now have to start thinking in the manner that a man will have to think to make these decisions that they needs to be made. So I feel these things need to be pointed out. It's different.
I've been meaning to ask, as per gender roles, this is everybody has their perspective, but we are going to talk about it just as I want us to just throw small light. As a man, how important is it to be able to provide for your home and not leave that duty to your woman?
Very important too.
Because sorry, bro.
It's a responsibility.
Yes, because
I said
I've had conversations. I had conversations. Like I had an argument for hours about this thing a couple days ago. Now they necessarily didn't say a man should provide. They were more like love is enough and all of that. A man has to first love his family. Provision is not the basic that a man needs. Love is the basic that a man needs. But I have been of the solid because they were like, if the man can provide enough love, even if he cannot do enough provision, the woman can support. Supporting is not a bad idea. But as a man, I will say with my full chest, how long do you think as a woman you can? It depends on the level of support too. You bringing in or paying one child school fees out of you paying one child school fees out of three or four is support too.
No,
But let's not undermine it that
there are women that can. There are women. See, the thing is just about individual. There are women that can support you for 100 years if they have
But
to.
that's why I said,
You understand?
however, they've
Yes.
been able to build themselves to tolerate doing that. Some of them cannot actually, like, a lot of them cannot actually sustain making that decision without it affecting them. Like, even if they're able to do it, it means they have to leave this because you're either here or here. Like, you get, you now have to start thinking like this set of people so you can be able to make these decisions that it's pretty much duty based, like gender, like only this gender and they make this kind of decision based on the duty they have to perform in this decision making process. So you have to switch to this side.
Okay.
So that's the point me I'm trying to make now. So
But me, I totally agree with you. It is the responsibility of a man to provide
fine.
for his family. But regardless of that, it should not so be static as well. Eh,
No, it should
you
not be static.
understand?
Like,
There should
it's
be.
flexible.
how important is provision from a man's place in decision making of a woman when she wants to settle down. You know, we are talking about gender roles. We've talked about cooking and the kitchen. I'm just saying, how important is it as a man to be able to provide? Like, we know it's a thing that your wife can cover
Yes.
if you have a good wife, but then on how many, how much probability can we stand on that this your woman will even be comfortable assisting for a long? Plus, it depends on if a woman is assisting without being pressured. It's a different thing. She can do it for life. Do you understand what I mean? If she's assisting out of free will without pressure, she can maybe once in a while, one urgent thing will now come up. She might not be comfortable doing it, but she still has to do it. She doesn't have a problem. But whereby she's put in a box that
She has to be the one to
she
do it.
like these things are coming regularly. That this is supposed to be your thing, no, but it don't come now, and my husband if you do, I might cover for my husband. How often do you think she's going to be doing it at a long run? Do you understand?
But the thing is, this is how me I would say it. I feel like in this our generation and with the kind of that conversation with some girls, with the kind of girls and the mentality they have now, it will be. I don't think they would do it that far. They will easily get tired of it because they already they have this idea of marriage. This static role play. You understand? So if there's a deviation, I feel like these are a generation of girls we easily give up. Understand? But regardless, I grew up in Aurora and it's not necessarily a small community, but within the people that are around you, you tend to know a lot of people. And I've seen family where the man maybe was normally is a provider and then something happens that perpetually just disable the man. You've seen hardly before you see that okay the woman will just pack her things and leave. You've seen stories like that too, but as well. But there are some few ones too where you see okay the woman will step up and you also see that she's taking care of the family. Seeing the children through school. Is even also taking care of the man.
Yeah,
You
there are
understand? There
situations
are a
like
lot
that
I've seen. There
actually.
are a lot of situations like that. Exactly.
True. Things
Sure.
are the dynamic has changed actually. Like you said, like these things are culture, like it has to fit into the particular working structure of a culture. Like you get.
Exactly.
And I feel it has not, like, this generation has not yet found a working structure that will work for this generation because the mentality that a lot of us have, it's foreign and it's not suitable for what is happening in our society because some people are on the uh should I say they are on the side that will say it is like they've developed themselves to be on the side that it is the man's role and duty to provide. Whereas the community we are at right now, where we are right now in society, like if you are able to provide, like if you're able to step up and put yourself in that position to provide, I feel it should be something that should be done without, like, it's not something that should now cause
Yeah.
any form of quarrel amongst who should play this and who should do this because the way the society is right now, the way it's structured, the understanding that we have of what will work for us, it requires us to be flexible with these things, like, do you get? But I also want to point out that, however, as a man, see, whether you like it or not, now only you fit sustain this thing.
You are not sick.
Yes,
The
true.
only
Actually,
problem
like,
you have is that you are mediocre.
yes, you have to be a thinking man. Like, you have to ensure. That's why I literally just want to advise that, as a man, like, where you are right now, bro, wherever you are in life right now, I feel you should look to build yourself to be the best that you can be, not just for yourself, actually, because of the role you have to play to ensure that your society becomes a better one.
Family
Like,
first,
your family first,
your
actually,
children.
but at the end of the day, like, the society you are going to be, like, make sure it's a better one. It's something that works. Do you get?
Yeah, I totally agree. Because that should be our aim. You know, for me, the reason why I would first of all comfort, why I would want to have like play my responsibility as a man is I actually want to be in control of how my family is structured, and I also want to be in control of the environment I put my children in, and how or the kind of people I build them to be. So that will actually, give me the push to actually want to do better as a man, find my place and find my role in my
Here in
family, you
your
understand?
in your
Because
family and in society,
in
like, in
society as
society
well,
as well.
yes, exactly. So I have to, know my place as well and find a woman that will be
That
able
is
to see
compatible enough with.
from my own, that will be able to see the same, that will have the same dream as me. Exactly.
Okay.
It does not necessarily have to be the same, but the
Like,
core
you
of it
have to work, like, it's something that will work together, like,
that will complement
they
each other.
complement each other, like, it aligns with what you
Yes,
actually want.
exactly. That's what I
Because
mean. Not necessarily the same
I
anyway.
feel that's something a lot of people in, like, another problem I feel should be considered is how a lot of marriages these days, like, they are not properly, like, the people that are involved, like, person now, like, they don't even know their roles in the, like, they don't know their roles or their duty that will ensure that the union they are in will work properly, and so we end up having a lot of broken, disjointed homes. Like, do you get? I feel that is also another problem that we should look into. Anyways, like, let us, like, as men, anyway, like, let us become aware of the duties we owe to our wife, to the woman that we are to spend the rest of our lives
Even
with.
women too, they
And
should
women
also
also,
know.
yes, sure, also women also should also know, like, that's why I said role, like, gender role, like, role play and duties are two different things, like, do you get?
Well,
Like,
I
there's
feel
a
like
difference, actually.
see it's more of okay, like for example now, in Muslim tradition,
Yeah.
it's okay for a man to get married to multiple wives as long as he's three. You understand? So in that
As long
kind
as
of,
he's able to perform his duties as a man.
no, not necessarily as long as he's able to perform, as long as he does not, I'm talking about the religion, as long as he does not pass theory. And so he
Not more
must
than
only
three.
not more than three, it has to be theory. If you want to get married, you have to maybe send one away. I don't know, if I'm wrong, forgive me, it's
Okay,
ignorance.
so we're going to
But
verify that fact
we'll
anyways.
verify
I'll verify that fact. But
exactly.
anyhow, me, I don't feel me. I feel if you are able
But
to
let me just quickly uh, finish what I was trying to say. In that kind of
religion
religion
situation.
now, so there's already the mentality of okay, this is how it's supposed to be. So women tend not to have issues with it when their husband wants to, remarry. So it's normal because they've already taught them from they grew up under the atmosphere of that religion, and it's normal. You understand? So that's already settled. But in other, like maybe us in this south now, it is more like an abomination. So if you now, as a man, you want to, that okay, you want to be a traditional man and get married to more than one wife. So the first woman you be with, you have to tell her that okay, this is kind of man I am, or this is what I would
She
want
has to
to.
be
She has
okay with
to
that.
she has to be okay with that, to say okay, I don't mind, I can marry you like that. It will be unfair for you to
marry
marry
someone,
somebody, and at the end of the
you are
day,
adding to the person. Like you have to understand what will make these things work. That's why I encourage this generation of young adults to, like, you have to know that if I'm getting into this particular thing now, this is what is required of me. If you do are not aware of what is required of you, or you don't know what is required of you, you make inquiries, you try to find out these things, because I believe we all have the mindset of wanting to make things work to the best that they can. And if you've still not gotten that mindset, I think you have to do a rethink, and you have to actually re-examine yourself, because I feel that is a primary function to making your society work. Like if your family is working, then the society you are trying to build will definitely work. Do you
That's
get?
what I wanted to say. Since because I think we said it one time, like the first show that family is the first stance of society. So if you want a better society, you have to start from family, and which means if you want to start the concept of a family, you have to be very intentional about it. There's a reason why there's been a higher rate of divorce in Lagos and Abuja over the past 3 years than
All
there's
over
been
Nigeria.
previously. Do you understand? But majorly in Lagos and Abuja, there's a reason why there's been a higher divorce rate since I think 2020 or 2021 to 2024 compared to the years before. So for that reason alone, I feel it is very important that as men and as women, we should be very intentional and clear on what you want and the kind of partner you want before going into marriage, because at the end of the day we'll come out not knowing each other's roles and we create disjointed families here and there, and it messes up the society.
I actually said that stuff I said just now, because I wanted to come to the point where I will explain that, okay, you see, in that part of Nigeria, there's already a law, like a mutual understanding, like they were able to breed people up to think like this. In our own side now, it's not different. So it's just that the teaching is different, because a lot of our young girls and guys, they learn marriage from online, from people who are, putting this charade of I'm having a happy marriage, and the happy marriage now is reflected as going to vacation, doing. So a lot of people now grow up with that expectation of this is how my marriage is supposed to be. Exactly. If exactly, you say, like, you show that, okay, this they have this videos. Yes, they have this video say this guy bought Suzuka car for his wife, then you come and meet your husband that you don't love me. So how will I know that you love me if you don't? Exactly. So marriage is not about that. You understand? If there is
But
money,
it's actually good to try and make out these acts. Like I call them acts anyway. They're acts of expression. Like it's
well,
actually, it depends. I'm not being static that it has to be this thing, but when you try to, like, when you try to show someone you love them, or you have this, you feel a certain way towards them, you have to express these things. Like even if you tell them, like, it's not just about telling them, like, you have to express in a manner that they will understand. And even if you understand being loved to be this particular kind of way, it doesn't mean it's the same way the other person sees being loved as. That's my opinion anyway. But I feel, no, wait, I feel like a lot of marriages these days right now, like, they are built wrong in the fact that they are so fixed on the particular kind of happy marriage that is being flaunted on social media. That's the point. Me, I'm agreeing with you that the fact that they are actually copying or learning the concept of marriage, or how family or marriage is supposed to be, for what's being shown as love in today's society from social media, is based on these gift items and material things. All of these things you've said so far, like, it's a wrong form of seeing how a happy marriage is anyway. That's my point.
exactly. Because those things does not actually constitute what, those are just extra. If I have enough money, I can buy my car, I can buy my wife gifts and cars. But that one doesn't, that one happens outside. It doesn't even reflect, because like I said, marriage is, if we're talking about gender role and in marriage, it's more of conflict, ability of conflict resolution, being able to, because marriage is filled with issues. We've seen it in our,
Oh, no.
it's not a bed of roses. You don't, is not, it can never be a bed of roses. You
But I
understand?
feel that issue of conflict and the issue, like you said, sorry, I'm cutting you short. The issue of conflict resolution, like it's something that we as human beings we should ask for, like we should
What's
be
the
able
difference?
to like have, because if like we as men now we can have, like we need a way to manage our relationship. You get, like we have to understand that there are various ways in which we can handle conflicts that will always come up.
Okay.
Do you get? And I feel in marriages are rather like, if you are going to say you have a happy marriage, like it's your ability as an individual to be able to manage the situation. Like if you don't know how to manage a particular situation, you end up not having a happy home, because now you have to fight with your
A lot of
partner
people
all the
don't,
time.
a lot of people don't, mostly girls these days, or even guys sef, they just feel any little thing, I'll just do, and they do again. So it's normal. I have a lot of
I think
options.
that's a very wrong mentality.
It
Like
is obviously it is wrong now, because it removes the place of this conflict
I
resolutions.
don't want to sound too raw on this, but I think I read it somewhere, or someone said the reason why we have more messed up, what's it called, like the reason why most women or men generally feel not satisfied with spouse and they have to date 3, 4, 5, 6 persons to find one. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes,
Like, how do you know this the person? And how do you know the specific one? You be like, this is the one I settled with, but it's not the one I want. I want this before because of this. It's actually because of the level of exposure. She made an example back in the day when you get to marry your wife, the family that she's coming from, they're giving her to you as the first man that she's married to. So she doesn't even have an idea of what a perfect man should be like.
She learns from
She learns from you.
Okay.
Do you understand? So this exposure with boys and girls, I don't get new girlfriend now, but you know they do wetin my ex they do. My break up, my find new one. This one they do nice, oh, like that first one, oh, but she dey lack this thing, oh. So at the end of the day, you find yourself having an unending want because you cannot piece all the good parts of different people together in one person. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I think we still need to, as a society, put place structure on what we should be realistic on what we want. I think the reason why most of us don't even know what we want yet is because we've tasted. That's just the truth.
Is actually long.
A lot of
There will be a re-evaluation of a lot of things.
yeah, so
But at the core of it is find somebody that is okay with the things
you are okay with, yes.
And at the end of the day, that will just be the starting point. And then two of you can work it out from there.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people make the mistake of, and I've seen a lot of people have said it, and me, I always disagree. Is they will tell you,
the more you stay together,
find one person and make you train her to become poor. You want to human being, you don't understand. Exactly.
This person, this as a human being, like you want to make decisions for yourself, like as a person, like so it doesn't make sense that you want to carry an entire human being and just decide for the person, like every single day of the person's life. I think that's a very selfish thing to do, and I think what people should actually do, like we've said, the most important thing is how to manage conflict, like resoluting conflict when anyone arises. Like I feel it's a very necessary part of our lives that we need as human beings. Like we should be able to learn how to manage with people, like because you are entirely, in as much as you are similar in every aspect, you are still quite different in like everything, like every other aspect. So that's just, I just feel that's a very selfish thing to do. And for the persons that are actually on this mindset, I don't think it's the right one. And if you as a man you have this kind of thinking, I feel this is something you need to reevaluate on, because if you are going to build a happy home or a happy marriage for yourself, you cannot just be all about wanting to control.
Yeah.
You get? So I feel we are going to do better anyways. I encourage people to do better, but I hope you encourage people to do better.
No, of course, because it's for me, I'm very patriotic anyway. So me, I want a better country for all of us, and these are
society.
apart from us wanting good government, these are places we can start from. understand, in how we define role, in how we
Because
raise our children in
like
family,
we
and all
cannot
of those
just be
many.
doing everything, like it cannot just be everybody just be doing anyhow, like you get
Exactly,
it doesn't
because
work like that.
yes, we have to reconsider all of these things
And
to
build a proper
become.
structure. Try and see what particular structure is going to work.
Restricted.
Like with where we are now in life, like you get with where we are now in life, we cannot continue using what worked for before. And it's not like what worked for before worked for them properly, because we can all agree that they had loops, like they had faults. And I think even if we are going to take what works for before and apply it to what's supposed to work for us now, I think we should actually look at the areas that are lacking, that do not fit into this particular structure of life that we have right now. Because I feel the fact that people are doing that is why we will have more broken marriages and more misplaced roles and duties from these different genders per se now in society, and why things are hard to work. Because it cannot stay static, like you said. Like
Yeah.
these things are flexible and tend to move over time. So I feel we should try to see how we can reevaluate this whole structure of how things should work individually as different persons and ensure it works.
Let me quickly tell one story. When I was serving, I served at uh, I will show you the school now, that military cantonment, Oshodi also. And there was one time, I think the best class I've ever had. It was about this topic, and I was talking to the children, I think JSS 1 or so, and I was more like talking to the girls that they should not really allow society to like determine that they could, basically, that they could be anything they
Anything they
want to
want.
be. You know, they
Yeah.
could be CEOs, they could be
Literally anything.
presidents, but the thing is, do not expect society to
Handle
hand
it
it
to
over to you.
welcome.
You
Yeah.
understand? You have to, as much as guys put the effort, you too, you have to put the effort, and that's the defining factor. And when I was telling them, their eyes light up, and they were all like, wow, this is. And I believe that's what we should be teaching our children, not just in our educational system, but in families too. Understand? As a father and as a mother, uh, you should not say because you are a girl, you are lesser, or okay, fine. We know we follow the patriarchal system.
Yeah.
Understand? That one is in.
But that's the working
It
system
is
currently
a
that we
working
have.
system,
It's
but
working.
it's destroying the female factor as well. As it's not, let me not say destroying anyway.
It's
He
not
just has he
aligning,
just
it's not
has his
giving
own
room.
negative side, and he has his positive
Yeah.
side. And the negative side is making
It's
women feel less.
less.
You understand?
So I feel this should be looked into anyways.
No,
Like
you should. You
I
should.
feel as men, as men, we should encourage one another not to actually allow that nature of, like, allow society to imbue that kind of nature in us. Because I feel it's only fair that we give each other, like human beings, like we should be able to learn to give each other particularly equal chance. So we should not, in as much as society wants to promote these specific gender roles, I feel as human beings we should allow exploration, but exploration to a certain limit. Because I feel some, although I cannot specify most of these limits anyways because they are numerous, I cannot just pinpoint. So it doesn't seem like I'm actually supporting a particular, although I am supporting, but I cannot just spit it out right now. But I feel we should give room for this other side to explore and just be themselves. Like we should not limit them. We should not allow the culture of our society to limit these opportunities for them. That's just how me I feel anyways. Well, what do you think?
I don't know. I feel like the we saying that I feel like society should actually create equal chances, but then we should also know which roles and which roles not to play. I feel if there was no gender role, we won't have transgender. Men will not be wanting to be women, and women will not be wanting to be men. Because if you know that as a man, you can do what a woman can do, why do you want to turn to a woman? And if you know that as a woman,
Possible for a man to do? Can a man
no,
give birth?
no, I'm just
No,
saying.
actually,
But I
I'm just saying
understand what
based
you
on
mean
the
anyway.
gender equality thing. If as a woman you can
Okay,
do what a
okay.
man can do, why do you want to
To
change
be,
to become
be a
a
man,
man?
exactly.
You
Yes,
understand?
yes,
So
yes, yes.
I feel like once you have basic knowledge of these things, it is easy to define these roles, which could be, like you said, which can be flexible. Do you understand?
or
But
it
it
will
doesn't
ensure
mean
that the
it is
system
not
works.
defined. Do you understand? This can be defined but flexible. The system works with this pattern. I mean, when we had a family structure right from time, even before present day civilization and all of that, it didn't ruin the society.
It
it
actually
was
helped
it was a
people
working
to
society at the end
it
of
was
the
a working
day.
structure.
So yes, if we can place a structure that this is zero, this is zero, which is a bit flexible, because if you have your wife being busier than you, then you can take the kids back from school and do kitchen runs, but she drops them off in the morning when she's going to work. Do you understand?
It
So
works for ensuring your family
if
develops.
yes, exactly, we can have these rules.
You cannot do it. Get a driver.
Yeah, if you cannot, you get a driver.
You
Do you
get a
understand?
driver.
So, but then I'm just saying these rules can be defined, but
Yeah,
still
Can be
can be
learn to be
flexible.
flexible.
Yes, very
Yes,
true.
you
Yes,
understand, and
yes.
be flexible. That's
Yeah,
all.
that's true.
So we are actually coming to the round of today's session, and Bo, this has been actually amazing. And I would also like to quickly point out that we are using this platform to try and encourage each and every one of us out there, brethren. Like I feel these are things that we should actually try and think about. Like sit down and ask yourself, like, what are the things that are required of you to ensure that a particular part of your life actually works fine. Like you get. So if as a man you've still not been able to figure out how to ensure that you've sort out these things for yourself, like I pretty much encourage you to stick with us, stay on the show, follow us, subscribe, and see how we can. And we'll actually be able to soon be able to allow our comments, like open our comment section and allow brethren out there to like speak up on certain issues and see how we can educate ourselves and talk and encourage ourselves actually to allow for these opportunities like we've discussed so far, like allow people to explore, but wherever we can guide, you guide, because like I said earlier, there are limitations to how much of these things that can be flexible, like you get. So I've enjoyed myself, Bo. Hope you've enjoyed yourself. So we didn't really get to talk much about how our day has gone, or I didn't really ask you how the weekend or everything has been, but I hope the weekend is cool with you, and I hope plans are actually going according as they should for the week anyways, my bro. We don't say anyway, sha, but well, you understand. So we will actually we'll do all right. So it was nice having you here, bro, and it was nice having you here. So see you next time on AWT. So follow us on our social media handles, which will display on our screens anyway, and we'll encourage you to click on that like and follow button. Subscribe to our YouTube channels and stick with us on this journey and see how we can develop ourselves and reevaluate most of these structures that are guiding society and how we live, and see how we can discuss most of these things and encourage ourselves to make better of these things and see how it works for us. So see you next time anyways. Take care.